can hear you now.
We're loud and we're proud. It's a Pride Month. I haven't got my rainbow flag, but we have a new sponsor for the show, which is very
Okay.
and also very progressive, which is what we like here on the show. We thought we'd get back to you last week, but unfortunately, let's turn off the music. There you go. Unfortunately, time got away from us, and we got super busy. I got super busy, and then we were told by the government that we couldn't have a life again, and then everything got shut down because of the flu variant deals. We like to call it around here the Delhi Belly, but the Vinda flu, apparently, as somebody was telling me the other day. The Car Show that was built for you radio returns once again with another episode, but now with added pictures. This week we have a strange little car in our classic car selection. It's a rear two-engine, two-door. It would be good if it was two-engined. Two-door that's not a Porsche or a Beetle. So it's rear-engine, two-door that's not a Porsche or a Beetle, which will keep you thinking. Meanwhile, we've also got all the news that's fit to print in the news, and we'll help folk around the globe fix their motoring problems in the mailbag, also known as letter bollocks. Now, talking of someone who never talks a load of old bollocks, here's Simon.
Are you sure?
Well, all right.
Have you never heard any of my radio
Just
shows?
little bit of bollocks. Teeny weeny bit.
Absolutely. Yes, we're back on track with another show, and I'm raring to go like a racehorse, but less of a long face like Lionel Richie.
Yeah. Well, you got the long face there. Oh, yeah, I always thought he looked like a pit bull.
Hello.
There you go. Is it an face you're looking for? It is.
We've got a great show on the way for you today with somewhere exciting and international and exotic in our Lost Highway section of the show. And I've a great quiz for you this week. We'll test your motoring knowledge. This week it's called Our Friends Electric. A little nod there to the Chew Boy Army.
Okay. Oh, so is it about electric cars?
It is, yes.
Nice,
See what I did there.
Nice.
And we'll be asking the age-old question of where do all the traffic cones go when they're not on the road?
Sorry about that. Where'd all the what go?
Well, the traffic cones.
Yeah, where do
they go
go?
when they're not?
Where do they go?
Unless they're on like a statue and they put them on top.
Of course, that's the best way to do it when you've had about 8
No,
pints.
they're never on the road. Never off the road. So
Never off
stay
the road,
tuned
believe me.
for all of that and more. I'm Simon Tutoron, and so you think you can love me and leave me to die? Oh, baby, can't do this to me, baby. Just gotta get out. Just gotta get right out of here.
I think I picked one of your favourite songs of all time.
Yes.
Simon Suji won there, and you saw what is it called? The Queen guitar, the Red Devil.
Red Special.
The Red Special.
Red
Brian's
Special.
signature on the end. I was going to make a joke about you being a fan of the movie Wayne's World, but I think from the fact that you own a guitar which you can't play very well.
Yes. Well, I can.
Sort of.
Can't. Yeah.
The last time we jammed, you said I can only really make airplane sounds with it, which was
Yes.
can we open a 12 bar blues in E, and you went, can we make aeroplane sounds?
Yes.
Yes, I'm Richard Green, and Don Amott, King of the Caravans. The Price is Right, and the choice is yours. And if you remember that advert from the 1970s, then you're old and from the Midlands. Maybe
Before my
Dale,
time.
Measham, near Grantham, just off the A465. There's a voiceover I really wish I'd... Don Amott, King of the Caravans. If you're watching it, have a look on YouTube at Don Amott, King of the Caravans. It is fantastic advert. But my brother in Australia said, "Whatever happened to Don Amott? I think he might be still going. I hope so."
Really?
Yeah, it's an advert with a lion that had a crown on, and he was King of the Caravans. But that aside. That's not why you're called. This is Car-Boyz! Of course,
It is Car-Boyz. Yes.
It's time now. I've changed the title of Richard's rant to Dick's Diatribe. Before I go on, we've also got a sponsor because it's
Who's the sponsor this week?
The sponsor this week is LBGT Water, refreshing and politically correct. Of course, we know they're lesbian, bisexual, gay, transformer robots in disguise, questioning.
Optimus Prime.
And the Riddler from Batman. All covered. Rainbow.
Yes.
Rainbow Nation. Just like South Africa, and that's going well for them, isn't it? Time now on the show for Dick's Diatribe. Politically, we seem to have turned slightly right. I don't know how that happened. It's time now for my diatribe. It's when I take a sideways view from the world from my own weird, and it could be argued, warped perspective. Under the false teeth back in. You can see this is live. Unlike other sections of the podcast, this will be an open debate, not a mass debate. Who am I kidding? It's going to be a totalitarian dictatorship where I shall rule unchallenged in the role as El Generalissimo. But I digress. This week, I have been thinking about how after 60 years of car ownership for everyone, we're about to turn the clock back a century, and car ownership could get into the hands of a few once again, with a little man with a red flag running out in front of the car. The reason I say this is that cars are more expensive now than they ever have been. According to a new study by Money Barn and reported by the Times newspaper, cars have become almost double the cost of what they were 10 years ago, whereas wages on average have risen by a mere fifth in the same period. For example, the price of a new Mercedes V-Class has risen by, wait for it, 93% at £36,000 over this period, whereas a Jeep Wrangler is now almost £50,000. That's a rise of 117% since 2011 for a car which I do believe needs at least 2 oil changes a year. Apart from the greed of motor manufacturers, which is of course legendary, why, oh why, oh why, as they used to say in Points of View, why, oh why do these cars cost so much more? Well, dual sword here. Firstly, cars are no longer just cars. I've got a 2013 Honda with a big bugger of a petrol engine, which is now almost impossible to buy. You cannot buy an executive saloon car that isn't a hybrid. The new Jaguar is a hybrid, so is the new Lexus. They no longer make the Accord. Well, they no longer sell it in the UK. You can buy it in America. Almost every new large car has a hybrid engine, which may be saving the planet, but costs much more to install into the car. So the first thing is that rising these costs is obviously a sop to green lobbyists around the world, which may or may not save the planet. That's a contentious issue for another time possibly. Now the second reason is the study by Money Barn highlighted the increase in new technology, both for safety and the propensity for new gadgets. Now whilst I'm all for side impact bars, ABS, airbags, lane guidance systems, etc., which are all very nice, are we just a bunch of magpies that need shiny things in our cars to keep us amused whilst we sit in traffic? My first car was a 1983 A-Reg Fiat Panda with no power steering, no electric windows, no aircon, no hybrid engine, no ABS, no drum brakes, all round, no LED dash display, and at one time only one door. It had an old radio with one speaker. The seats were cloth. There was no sat nav. It couldn't get much above 70 miles an hour. It rusted. This is the reason for the one door, from the bottom up, and broke down so many times did it break down. But what it did do is get me from A to B without fear of getting wet, falling foul of muggers, and without the risk of getting run over by an articulated lorry. What I'm saying is the car let me have a life, go to a job, meet attractive people in faraway lands, and by that I mean drive 10 miles down the road to my friend's house in the pouring rain. It did what a car is supposed to do, get you from A to B, and I lived in the countryside with no public transport when I was a kid, so the car was essential. What I'm trying to say here is that do we actually need the car to do anything apart from this, be a car? I mean, I love the safety features, but does it really need to have Bluetooth, TV screens in the back of the headrests, a sat nav that'll be out of date within 5 years, electric heated seats, although they are very nice electric heated
They
seats.
are.
You do feel
Yes.
like you've soiled yourself. Really, technology is moving so fast that you'd need to be updating your car every 18 months for it to keep up with the latest technology, which may be why manufacturers want you to keep buying cars again and again and again. For example, there's a classic car company in California that refuses to convert classic cars like Mustangs or VW vans into electric, which has been a popular thing over the last few years, because by the time they finish the custom job, the tech inside the van is out of date. I've got all my gadgets and my music and my media on this. Right? Oh, bit of a
Yep.
plug for Apple. Androids are available. I'd rather have it on this than my car. When I buy a new phone every 2 years, I can keep up to date with technology as opposed to needing to buy a new car. Recently, Honda decided to stop installing tablets instead of actual buttons on their cars to control sort of the aircon, the entertainment, the running of the car generally, certainly all the electrics. Now the reason why is it's far too dangerous to fiddle with a tablet whilst turning the heat up and trying to drive your car. I had a Honda Jazz, which I didn't buy it. It was a loaner car when my car went in for a service, and I was fanning around with that screen so much, trying to get just the aircon. Open this window, open this window. So Honda have gone, yeah, that's actually stupid because it's just as bad as looking into this and sending texts. I do hope my sister's watching whilst you're driving along. So Didn't have all that in my old Fiat Panda. So, Simon, are we being spoiled by too much tech when we really just want to get from point A to point B in relative comfort, safety, and on time? Are we buying cars with far too many headaches to go wrong? I think the answer is yes, and that's what my father used to say. Oh, I wouldn't buy that. You don't need the extra. You don't want electric windows, he used to say, because it's another thing that can go wrong.
Mm. Well, the thing is, as I said, there's some useful things. So if you've got your phone, you can obviously connect that up, so you can answer that while you're driving, so you don't have to leave your hands off the wheel. So there's some
Yes.
useful stuff in there. But how that justifies them going up 100, almost 100%, is absolutely crazy. Does not make sense at all
all the
whatsoever.
new tech, it's the green stuff. I think margins
Yeah,
are
but
incredibly small
if
for
you
car companies.
think about it, lots of the metal are recycled, so surely the metals are cheaper to buy and to
One would
make. The actual
yes,
manufacturing cost should have gone down,
yes,
if
yes.
anything.
Well, I'd like to think that, but let's be honest, they do exactly what they want to do, don't they? In terms of manufacturers can just tell you anything that we think you should do this, we think you should do this. I'm not. I'm really. I. I I think its profit. I think its margins have got smaller and smaller, and I think people updated their cars. I think people updated their cars a lot more, probably 10, 20 years ago than they do now, because cars used to break down. I mean, we own a car that's nearly 20 years old, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's no rust
Yeah,
on it.
it
Keep
doesn't
going.
really go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So why don't I just keep? Why do I want to buy a new one?
yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing, and that's, as you said, the more that the price of cars go up, the more the average motorist can't afford it. So they're
And
going to
it's
have to
it's a
stick
vicious it's
with
a
what
vicious
they've got.
circle. So they'll stick to
Yeah,
what they've got, but they're not selling us more. So value of second-hand cars
go
is slowly
supply and
rising.
demand.
As my
Yeah.
father found out the other day that his car has gone up. It's an £800 car, but now
Yeah.
he couldn't buy that car for less than 1,500
Wow. Yeah. Which
because
in
they're just
turn you'd have thought then insurance costs would go up as well because the cost of replacing your car
yes,
for like an equivalent
yes.
would be more expensive.
I mean, good luck arguing that with the insurance company when they try and write it off and try and sell you
Yes.
your car's worth jack. But the
Yeah.
reality is, yes, you want like for like. I have to go. My wife's car I would sell probably for 800, £900. If it gets destroyed, we're going to be looking at the best part of 1,500 to get her a like for like replacement.
Mm. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's just not out there at that price. Shall we
Mm.
have some music for the news?
Yes, let's have some news. And unlike some news channels, our music does work.
And microphones do as well. And we don't have a
Yes.
vision mixer. Sound. Oh no, hang on. Now we spoke too soon. We spoke too soon. We've scuppered ourselves. We're
We
bad
could
as
have
I know, we were really flying well there,
we
weren't we?
could
And
have
now
gone for glory there.
we're bad as GB News. I just need to be Scottish with hair plugs.
Yes, of course. But of course,
Isn't that right, Simon? Sorry.
first off, in Big Ears gift to Lady Di goes under the hammer news.
Ah.
We're talking about this. It is the Ford
Oh.
Escort. So that's the car that Prince Charles gave to
Hello, dear.
Princess Diana as an early engagement present.
nice,
Has
isn't it?
been uncovered after 20 years after being secretly driven by a royal fan. Tina Kirkpatrick was a fan of the late Diana, Princess of Wales, but never told anyone that her little runaround once belonged to her. I do like that Escort. She happily drove it around in the Hertfordshire village she used to live in, telling people who asked that her beloved silver motor had been her first car. In fact, the Mark III Escort gear, which is this one, you know it's the gear because it's got the stripes underneath, and it actually did have wood trim inside, proper wood
Did it?
trim.
I
Yeah.
had the Mark III. It rusted from the bottom up, Simon, but that's another story.
My dad had a Mark III one as well. It had been daily run around for May
Did it have those little things
1981.
you could put the cassettes in?
Yes, you had to hold the orange button down
Pressed
and
it
then
and
the
they
tape.
shot out.
Yeah.
Then you put the tape in.
Yes.
The kids haven't got a clue.
Tapes.
Tapes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And also the little joystick to control where the speakers were as well.
That was a genius idea because if you didn't want to hear it in the back, you could push it forward to the front.
Forward.
If you didn't want to hear it in the front, you could push it forward to the back.
Exactly.
Or if you were like me in the passenger seat, you could just do this with your finger and your dad's driving. Go, what are you doing? Just sitting there doing this.
It was all whirly.
Yeah.
Got a tremolo effect.
Mm.
But she drove it around 2 months before the royal wedding until August 1982. Diana regularly drove the 1980 car to visit Charles during their engagement, often being photographed in it in events such as polo matches. Come on, Andrew Neil, sort it
Sorry.
out.
Sorry about that. There's only six. See, this show didn't cost £60 million. You
Yes,
can tell.
exactly. And we lasted for more episodes so far. Soon after taking ownership of the escort, her elder sister, Lady Sarah Spencer, gave
Mm.
the silver Ford car mascot, frog car mascot, that Diana attached to the bonnet.
Oh,
The
that's
Princess of
illegal
Wales
now,
got rid of
surely.
the car, oh yeah, 2 months before giving birth to Prince William. In 1995, the car was bought for £6,000 by an antiques dealer as a birthday present for his daughter, and it then sold to Miss Kirkpatrick, who was taking great care of it, regularly getting it serviced and MOT'd, which she has to do anyway. She now has decided to sell it at auction for an estimated
Mm.
£40,000. The Escort has a 1.6 litre engine, CVH engine, carburettor fed, 83,000 miles on the clock, and it is in full working order. So there
Um,
you go. I
I
do
do
like
want to
that.
know whether those gas struts still work on that rear boot, or they just pumps it up with some sort of piece of bamboo or a broom handle.
I used to love that Escorts.
The
Those were
I
great.
had them. That's the Mark III. I had the very last of the Mark III from 1990.
Yes.
It didn't have the lights like that at the back with the ridges.
Oh yeah, so the
Uh,
facelifted
and it had the
one. Yeah.
RS wheels and it had a factory fitted body kit, but those things
Yeah.
rusted proper. I mean, I know they're worth a fortune now if you've got one. There's a
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
They just rusted from the bottom up. You'd have thought he'd bought her a Range Rover, didn't you? That'll do for you, dear.
Yes, you just go with
Dagenham's
an Escort
finest
gear.
for you. I'm driving. What did he drive? A Jensen.
He did. He got it.
Mm.
Was it his 21st birthday? He got a
Yeah,
Jensen
that's
Interceptor.
nice. That's nice.
Yeah,
I got a
that's a much better
Wawa.
present than that.
Yeah, what? Yeah, what? Yeah, but what did you get for your 21st? Bet you didn't get a car.
This is true. I didn't know. I didn't know.
I think I
Don't
got
even.
a
It's that long
Wawa.
ago.
I got a Dunlop. It's somewhere in this room. A Dunlop Wawa pedal for my guitar.
Uh,
I think it's still.
uh,
Actually, it's still. Hang on. It's my 21st birthday. This was a long time ago. My 21st birthday. Yeah, here it is. Here's what I got for my 21st birthday present.
really?
That was
Wow,
it.
a Wawa pedal.
It's a crybaby. It's a proper one as well.
Oh, okay.
And it goes wow wow wow
Fantastic.
wow 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 wow. Well, it doesn't because I can't really play the guitar very well. Better than you, but then that's not. There
Yes,
you go. That was
absolutely.
my 21st birthday present, which was a few years ago. That's all I got.
I can only reel off the hits of Queen. That's it.
Right, shall we move on?
And not as good.
Sorry,
Yes, and not as good.
not as good. No.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, Rolls-Royce reinvents that. Let's not moan about the fact we got shat all for our bloody 21st birthdays, and the rich did very well. We'll move on.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, in Rolls-Royce reinvents the hostess trolley and charges 20 million news. The world's most
Oh,
expensive new car has been unveiled today, I will say last week when we wrote this, by Rolls-Royce, and an umbrella has an umbrella that extends out of the back. Hang on, let's see if we can find a picture of this. Seriously, this looks like
yes.
somebody reversed into my picnic table at the back of the garden. There it is.
The table's there. Look, it's folded up.
The table's folded up. Oh, Uncle Steve is underneath. The 20 million Boattail convertible Grand Tourer is the first in an exclusive trio of highly personalised nautical-based limousines. A waste of money. It's been specially commissioned by a wealthy and flamboyant couple with a love of chilled champagne and alfresco meals and reversing
Ooh.
into people having a picnic in their back garden with the umbrella up. Hence, the vehicle's incredible rear decking houses a dinner set. Here we go. Here's another waste of time. Did they see you coming?
Absolute madness.
Rotating cocktail tables with matching chairs and a parasol that automatically extends out when they want to dine at the rear of the roller. The British car maker has exclusively modified the cabin to house personalised his and hers wristwatches, either of which can be slotted into the dashboard by the motor's clock. Reports that the owner may be an American rapper. Really? That doesn't surprise me. Were understood to be unfounded and wide of the mark. Or we're thinking Beyonce and
Jay-Z.
yeah, Jay-Z. It's taken 4 years of mind-boggling attention to detail. It's a hard life to design and manufacture in collaboration with the clients who wanted a unique car to mark a sense of occasion, says the legendary British Mark. put the exclusivity of the commission into context, the £20 million price tag would buy you the equivalent of around 40 personalised flagship Rolls-Royce Phantom limousines, costing around £500,000 each, including bespoke extras. It's also double the cost of the previous two most expensive new cars in the world. Rolls-Royce owned 10 million coach-built Sweattail of 2017. I got 990 million problems, but my bitch ain't one. Is that the new single? But this is, I've got 20 million problems and buying this car is one. Now, this is all very nice. It's obviously
Yes.
probably not Jay-Z. And this is
No.
very nice, right? If you've got the money, if you've got 20 million. The trouble is, I'm a child of a certain decade.
Yes.
And I thought it reminded me of a hostess trolley from the 1970s.
So those of you that aren't old enough, lots of these were given away as prizes on TV shows, weren't they? On quiz shows.
That's right. And
Hostess
here it is. Your very own. You won't have to make the dinner, when in actually fact you will. You'll just get it to prolong the dinner and it'll get served a little bit moist and warm. This is a 1970s version of, well, basically it was a cupboard
Turkey in
on
there.
wheels, and you
Yes,
filled it with
that opened up.
yeah, you filled it with hot water. You filled it with boiling water, and it kept all the food warm. So when the man look at him. He's what is
What
he
I like
today?
here, it's Jenny Agutter again, who makes
Oh,
regular
Jenny
appearances on
Agutter,
the
she
show.
does.
There she is.
She's a fan of the show. There she is. Hello. Oh, you've brought Derek around. See, that's saying to me, have we? This won't go cold. Let's go upstairs for half an hour, and then enjoy our roast dinner.
He's bought
Post-coitally.
flowers for his mistress.
Yes.
There you go.
Hello. Here's some flowers. Now, ladies, let's get to it.
He looks well happy.
And of course he is. He's got a host. He's going to eat a roast dinner served to him by a hostess trolley.
Look at the chicken and turkey in that.
Oh, that absolutely stinks. Now, you could have picked one of those up at a boot sale right now for in excess of £5, whereas this thing costs 20 million.
Have you seen how much the modern day version of these cost?
No,
They're
they're
in
really
the thousands,
expensive. What?
thousands and thousands of pounds.
I
Yeah.
remember my mum's friend picking one up at a boot sale 20 years ago and going, "Look what I found," and we're like, "Wow, hostess trolley. Well, I haven't seen one of those for years." Well, and she used it like twice. Aren't they
I
like
can well imagine, yeah.
really the only place you see them now is maybe in an Indian restaurant if you've got a lot of people and you
Yeah.
something like a
Possibly.
trolley.
Oh dear.
There you go. So yeah, hostess trolley for £20 million.
Moving on, and speaking of 70s rubbish to rubbish that drivers, they got
Just like
rubbish drivers taught to top their mess news.
Taught to hang on, that's been written badly, hasn't it?
Yes, I was going to say, it was like,
Top their mess.
rubbish drivers get taught
To pick up their mess.
clear up their mess. That probably makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Highways England, which looks after the nation's motorways and A roads, has backed the Great British Spring Clean just by adding Great British. That makes it worse.
Yeah.
With a plea of selfish motorists to take their rubbish home and stop using verges as
Hang on,
a
spring clean. It's nearly July.
It's midsummer. We've just had the longest day of the
Yeah.
year.
So what's the spring cleaning about?
Well, during last year's Great British Spring Clean, Highways
When
England
did that take
collected
place? October.
Yes. 12,000 bags of litter they collected in the Midlands. Wow. What are they doing up there in the Midlands? More than 70 sacks as well as a mattress. Hang on. There's a mattress on the verge of a road. Really?
It's the Midlands. They're doing some dogging up there.
Probably.
I like
Yes.
the fact that it's like in the Midlands, more than 70 sacks of 70 sacks is probably what 4 houses do on my street. And there's always a mattress outside. You haven't got to drive 200 yards in London without seeing a mattress or an old sofa propped up against
There's a
a
mattress.
lamppost.
And a 1,000-litre oil tank as well.
Wow.
They were all collected from the A38 in Staffordshire. In the southeast, it worked with Brighton Hove and Worthing councils for a litter pick on the A27 in Southwick,
Suffolk, yeah.
collecting more than 138 bags. I'm assuming it's rubbish and not
Yeah.
bags, as other dealers might do. This month, the litter pick will be taking place off the A31 at Avonheath County or Country Park near Ringwood, Dorset. Litter is an important national issue, and we're pleased to be joining up with the Keep Britain. Do they still do the Keep Britain Tidy?
Nobody
campaign.
pays any attention to that.
Exactly.
It was a campaign by the
Back in the
COI in
80s.
the 1970s and 80s. The
Yeah.
COI doesn't even exist anymore. That's the Central Office of Information. And they used to do all of those adverts with people that have now gone on to be celebrity paedophiles.
It's a
So you
bit
had
like the Children's Film Foundation as
It's
well.
all
We don't
gone.
have that anymore.
It's all
Yeah.
gone. But the adverts were very simple. Was don't be a dickhead, pick up your litter. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and that was it. Now it's
Yes.
got to be edgy, and some horrible advertising agency with people that wear glasses like this
Mm,
sort of sit down
mm,
and have meetings. That's a load of old
yeah.
crap. Just have simple things. Don't throw rubbish out your car.
They're urging people to take their litter home. Alison Ogden Newton, nice name, CEO of Keep Britain
Very
Tidy,
working
says
class job.
our message is to the public is clear. Don't be tempted to litter pick on motorways. Highways England will do this, and it is extremely dangerous. Yesterday, Highways England committed to clear up 10,000 miles of roads for the Great British Spring Clean. Don't know which spring that's going to be, which ends on the June 13th.
So it's
Oh,
already
that's
ended.
all they've got. Yes. So far, volunteers have pledged to tidy 996,204 miles of the
Oh,
UK.
they nearly made the billion. Didn't they make
Yes.
the billion miles? they, that last, how many miles left did they have to go? 4,000 miles. Do you think they could have
To the
found
moon.
another 4,000 miles to make it a billion? Even if they'd sort of re-cleared up some roads that already done. I mean, this is interesting. So, are there not a billion miles of road in the UK? Are there literally only
Thousand.
996,204
Maybe it's a
miles?
million, not a billion. Billion seems too high.
Oh no, that would be a billion. Million. Yeah, it would be a million miles, of course. There must be a million miles of roads in the UK.
I'm guessing.
4,000 short.
I don't know.
Couldn't we
We
just
need to
do...
build more
Oh,
roads.
hang on. Within sight of the million-mile target, this story
Yes.
says.
Yeah.
So
Not
there are
billion
only
miles.
there's 4,000 miles of roads which are going to be filthy.
Yes.
You'd have thought they'd gone the extra mile, really. This is all very well. You know what they do? Look at this picture. Now, I live near a dual carriageway,
Yep.
and when COVID was happened, it was a dual thing of the council pretending to be environmentally friendly. They thought they would
Yeah.
grow the grass long, as they told us, for butterflies and insects and dog shit. So they let the grass go long, and then people... And you
Started
can't really
returning their
blame
cars.
people. There are no bins where I live in suburbia.
Yeah.
There's no bins. There's nowhere to put
Yeah.
anything. You can say you shouldn't throw rubbish out the window. You can say a lot of things, but people don't live in the area are going to throw rubbish out the window. So rather than litter pick this crap up, it was all hidden in the grass. They just cut the grass, and now all of this is everywhere.
And,
It's
and
shredded
even if we
crap.
did have more
side of the road.
bins, the councils are not picking up the rubbish as often.
I had an
So-
argument last summer with somebody that was saying, "Oh, they've left the park awful. They left the bins overflowing." Right. Well,
Yeah.
I happen to pay council tax, so I expect if there
What
is
are you
going to be
paying
more
for?
people going into the parks, which the flipping well is, because with nowhere else for us to go if we want to go outside, then the council should have put extra money into. It's all very well to tell people, yeah, take their litter home. Yeah, really, really, or. I thought we lived somewhere. I thought we lived in civilized Western society where there was enough bins provided, and people were together. I just want to know why I'm paying my council tax, Simon. That's what it
Well,
comes
the
down.
bins are being collected once every 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So where are people putting their rubbish? And especially that mattress along the A465 in Staffordshire. That was the story of the day. Finally, in Matchbox Car. I don't know why have I got this picture. I've got this picture of this, and I don't know what it pertains to. Maybe it'll. It's an old guy.
Is that a Zodiac?
It looks like
Ford
a Zodiac,
Zodiac?
doesn't it? We may have another story about. I don't know. It's not
Is he
litter
taking his litter
picking.
home with him?
He is taking his. Oh no, that was our story about the Rolls Royce. We should have included this one. This is how working
Okay.
class people eat their lunch.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
just sit on the back of
Sit
their.
on the
This is
Zodiac.
yeah. That's what my granddad would have done. Couldn't have afforded to 20 million for a Rolls Royce if he could. I wouldn't be presenting this show. Finally, Matchbox Car Collections net the owner thousands of pounds. A toy collector is celebrating after the first batch of his huge collection of 1,800 Matchbox cars has sold for, wait for it, almost £300,000. Graham
Oh.
Hamilton, 54, fell in love with miniature toys as a child and began collecting seriously in his early 20s. He spent over £100,000 acquiring almost every toy car manufactured between 62 and 82 at Matchbox Old Lesney factory in London, and in
Do you know where that
2004...
was?
You're going to
The
say
Leslie
Enfield,
Fair?
aren't you?
Yeah, it's literally down the road from me. It's
Really?
about 10 minutes walk from me. Yeah, that's where
Well,
they were made.
he set up the toy dealership Rockington Toys in 2004. The first half of his collection, about 900 models, sparked a worldwide bidding auction at Stockton-on-Tees in Teesside. I've got a picture of some of the cars. The top seller at a world record price of £15,000 was a super-fast Lincoln Continental pre-production trial model, which sold for almost 8 times. I think that is this it? Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Which is almost 8 times its pre-sale estimate of £2,000. Couldn't you get a Lincoln Continental for 15? A real one,
A real one.
a refrigerator truck with a factory pre-production colour trial made. Almost £10,000 despite a scratched windscreen. The auctioneers had predicted the whole collection would sell for 250,000, not nearly 300,000. The second half is expected to make 100,000. Mr. Hamilton, a grandfather of 3 from Guildford in Surrey, said his love for toys stemmed from his childhood and humble beginnings. I didn't have a lot of toys, but the ones I had I really loved. Other big sellers included a regular wheels 13D Dodge Wreck truck that fetched £12,000, a VW Beetle rally car made 6, and a rare Plymouth Grand Fury police car achieved 3,600. Mr. Hamilton decided to sell the cars because he doesn't have the space to display them and feared a burglar might break in and steal them. Now, I have a story about these.
Me too.
I left it quite late to have children in my life, and my father had all my Matchbox cars in a big box
Yep.
in the loft. And our old next door neighbour had a boy, and my dad gave the cars away just as my wife got pregnant with my daughter. So I was like, okay, let it go. I went on eBay and I bought a couple of big plastic boxes full of cars from all eras. And what it made me see, really, which is quite frightening, is how the cars that were manufactured in the 60s by people like Lesney and Matchbox are super well made. You can
Yes.
stand on them, you can smash them. I had a couple of my old cars left. I had a Starsky and Hutch car from the 1970s, which my son has now managed to lose the red light from the top. I had a James Bond car, the DB4.
DB5.
DB5 with the Goldfinger
Ejector
ejector seat and all that. I think the ejector seat's gone the way of all things. And but you could see these ones manufactured in Britain are quite good quality. Well, they are really good quality. They've got suspension on and everything. And you get into the still in the 70s, very good. Some really weird sort of strange looking cars. Some weird Lamborghinis and things. The 80s manufacturer slips over to Macau, weirdly, and Singapore and Hong Kong. Quality goes down a bit. And again in the 90s it goes down, and then manufacturer from the years 2000 is all in China, and they're crap. You can literally take your fingers and smash them.
Because it's now owned by Hot Wheels. But that brings me nicely to my favourite Matchbox car, which I still have. It's a 1979 Ford Cortina. You see, it's been through the wars.
Nice.
Paint's all come off. Looking to repaint it.
There's less rust on it than the usual Cortina. So.
Yeah. 1979.
Clean underneath.
It was made, yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been soiled.
So that's my favourite one. But these are, I recently got a Matchbox, I think it was a Mini, but they're made by Hot Wheels now, and they're mostly plastic. These are heavy die-cast metal.
Yes.
There's mostly other parts. Apart from these windows, nothing else is plastic
It's
on
die-cast metal. The only ones that I found that are quite hardcore, my son's got a lot of these monster trucks. You can bash them around quite a bit, the Hot Wheels monster trucks, but everything else, compared to the stuff we had, it's sadly lacking. I have an E-Type Jag with no tyres on it anymore. The paint's all scratched, the windows are all smashed in, but it still works and it still does what it is as a car. My son still goes, yeah, look at this. Oh, it's
still my favourite. My 1979 Ford Cortina.
Yes, it's the last of the very very final shape, isn't it?
So there you go.
And it's a stretch because you usually see those on bricks outside a council house. Shall we
Yes.
have some music for the classic car collection?
Yes, let's go for it.
Oh, the band are getting good. They're all back on methadone again. Was that you playing
Oh,
guitar? I missed out on that. Were you strumming along?
just very vaguely,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Did it cost you a lot, this guitar?
500 quid.
Oh,
Wasn't that
that's not
much?
bad.
It's not
I
bad,
thought it'd
yeah.
be like, yeah. I
Not
remember
bazillions.
years ago getting my guitar serviced by JD Guitars of Birmingham, who, if you are in Birmingham, go and get your guitar serviced by them. They are the only company outside of Gibson to have made Malcolm Young from AC/DC a guitar,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
they also make the signature Tony Iommi guitars. So they've
Nice.
always made them for Tony Iommi, and he was a really nice guy. And I think for 50
Yeah.
quid, I had an old Aria, and he for 50 quid sorted it out for me. I thought it was amazing with the same man. Oh, and he made
Nice.
the level 42 guitars as well for
Mark King.
Mark King with the lights
Yeah.
in.
It's fantastic.
Quite rock and roll. But I digress. It's time now for the classic car selection. Now, this week there's been a story in the news about how older cars are becoming increasingly valuable because of their scarcity. I'm not talking about E-Type Jaguars, Rolls-Royce Corniches, or Bugattis from the 1930s. I'm talking about cars that your parents and definitely your grandparents, maybe even you, drove. The British Leyland monstrosity was the Princess, is becoming a classic car. The Terry
Mm.
and June Princess, believe it or not. Um, and it's because there's so few left on the road. Meanwhile, most Peugeots from the 60s and 70s have risen in price over the past 12 months. And believe it or not, the humble Triumph 1300 from the late 1960s, a car that my mate used to bomb round in more than 20 years ago, has recently increased by at least 20% in the last 12
Wow.
months. And it was a horrible car. I think he painted
Mm.
Osric Tentacles onto the bonnets. Do you remember the band Osric? The Osric Tentacles?
Rings a bell.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, he was a sort of he had a lot of dreads. So why, hear you cry? Would these unexceptional cars become collector's items in the current market? It's because there's so few of them, as I just mentioned, despite the fact that most of them are old and rusty and don't run. And they're not that fast to drive. And by that I mean they don't have sat nav, they don't have power steering or cruise control, and they certainly crawl along the motorway and overheat and break down and don't run on anything more fuel efficient than 20 miles an hour. But what they do have in spades is character for those of us who used to own them or were driven around in them to scouts or church. They remind us of simpler times when the idea of getting into any car was an exciting adventure. And of course, it beat walking. So this week, our classic car selection, the one I've chosen is one of these much maligned cars that is increasing in price and is something you should buy and get now before it starts to get expensive. The car in question is the Hillman Imp. The humble Hillman Imp, there he is a small economy car that was made by the Roots Group and its successor Chrysler Europe from 1963 until 1976. It was the first mass-produced car with the engine block and cylinder head cast in aluminium, or as we say in Britain, aluminium. Being a direct competitor to BMC's Mini, it used luggage space-saving rear engine, rear-wheel drive layout, and to allow as much luggage and passenger capacity as possible in both the rear and the front of the car. It had a frunk, or as we say, what would we say? A foot. It used to have a
Yeah.
unique opening rear latch to allow luggage to be put on the back seat rest. And it was first mass-produced British car with the engine in the back and the first one to use a diaphragm spring clutch, the bulk ring synchro mesh unit for the transaxle compensated for the speeds of gear and shaft before engagement from which the Mini had suffered during its early production years. It incorporated many of the new design features, such as a folding rear bench seat, automatic choke, and gauges for temperature, voltage, and oil pressure. There's no question. This, believe it or not, and let me see if I can find it in Lotus form, was a very,
Ooh.
very, very good car. But there were so many factors which conspired to scupper the chances on the market that it was destined not to be a success for the Roots group. They so needed this. Now the engine was an absolute peach. A 900cc known as the Coventry Climax, reminds me of an ex-girlfriend. It dominated
Yay!
touring car championships in the early 1970s, and the TV star Richard Bradford, of course, drove a Hillman Imp in the TV series Man in a Suitcase. Its main issue, though, was build quality. Now, what should have happened was it should have been built in Coventry or Birmingham or Abingdon or Oxford, a place with a history of building cars, carriages, steam engines. Instead, the factory was sited in Paisley near Glasgow, a location famous, well, I'm afraid, for 3-day weekends and booze-ups as opposed to engineering excellence. The issue was that the government grant encouraged the Roots Group to build the factory here rather than, say, in Derby, and that coupled to the Scottish love of drink meant that many cars were half-assed on a Friday and badly finished on a Monday. The area didn't have any skilled staff who'd been working in engineering for decades, such as the Midlands, so rust and poorly assembled cars were big factors. What to look for, and how much should it cost me to buy one of these pocket rockets, and what should I be wary of? Well, don't spend less than £3,000 or you'll get a rotter, and you want to buy the most, as we always say, you want to spend the most you can and get the best car. Join the local enthusiast club to get expert advice and spare parts, maybe even a car. When you're looking at a car like this, check for rust. Imps were never rust-proofed, so although the shell is strong, it can be attacked by rust. Check the leading edge of the bonnet. Once the rust takes hold there, the panel will be difficult to repair. Inspect the door bottoms because drainage holes get blocked and allow the door to fill up with water. Rear wheel arches are prone to rot, as are the arches at the front. Now the good news is, these cars were made 50 years or so ago. The bad ones have all rotted away, so it's left, really, the ones that are left are only good. Bear in mind that they've not made these panels or interior bits for this car for again almost 50 years, so try and buy one that's in good nick. Get friendly with a local specialist who can work on these things. They are rear engine, and it's such a small car, it can be fun to throw around corners like the original Mini. Check for the engine for pinking noises, obviously blowing gaskets. How much should you pay? Well, you won't see change from £5,000. You could spend over 10 for the Lotus Special Editions. We found this one, which is it's not a very good picture, but this is the Super Imp. It's in like a chocolate brown. 1970, 40,000 original on the clock.
Wow.
Full service history, 4 owners, unrestored, always garaged, brand new tyres and exhaust. This is just under £7,000. I think that's amazing,
nice.
and that is a proper driver's car, even though it's only got a 600cc engine. I have been in the back of one of those many years ago. My uncle was a car dealer, and me and my brother were literally 5 or 6 years old, and we went in the back of the car and went round the corner, and I have an abiding memory that didn't have any back seats, and we just sat on the floor of the car. Health and safety is not what it is now. And that's pretty. You got a pretty one there in that sort of power.
I took that picture. That one is in the Glasgow Motor Museum. So obviously didn't go very far from Paisley to the Glasgow Motor Museum.
Oh, have you drinks on Friday night? Meet a car.
Yes.
You asked to finish it. Fuck it. You want to be driven by
So
those
yeah,
Sassenachs.
I like them. They're fun things. And rear engine.
Rear wheel drive, rear engine. It's like a baby Porsche. There used to be a guy near me when I lived in East London that had one of these boys souped up and used to unlowered as well.
Nice.
Really, really unusual looking cars. Right, so there you go. If you want to get your car onto the classic car selection, you just got to drop us a line. Email the boys at car-boys@outlook.com. Facebook car-boys at car-boys with 4 Zs. Twitter car-boys at car_boys with a Z. Instagram at car_boys with the 3 Zs. Is it time for Lost Highways?
It is time for Lost Highways.
Short. Stand by. Gotta find the Lost Highways music. It is around here somewhere. Here we go. Let's see if this works. Sound guitar.
I need a slide.
That's it. Middle finger to the audience. Maybe you got a pretty mouth. Lovely.
been rehearsing something new there, the band.
Yes, they have
Uh,
about them. They're very good.
Yeah. So it's Lost Highways, which of course is our feature on the show where listeners email us in, give us their favourite roads and reasons why they love them. It could be a quite coastal road that leads down to the sea, alternatively it could be a straight two-lane blacktop that leads to infinity and invites you to go on the pedal to the metal, whatever your poison is. Let us know at those details on the screen right now. First in the Highways inbox this week, Lulubell says, Dear Car-Boyz, hope you're keeping cool in the sweltering heat of London. It was hot, but then it
Was
rained this week, didn't
last week,
it?
wasn't it?
Yes, but it said it could be good preparation for you guys to visit Corsica.
Ah,
We're famous for the rally stages in the Tour de Corse, so expect lots of hairpin bends, zigzags, and steep drops. In fact, there are very few straight roads in Corsica. Nice. The idyllic Restonic Valley is one of the most popular Corsican destinations due to its remarkable beauty and easy access. It's located in the heart of the island, just southwest of Corsica's historic capital, and can be approached via the scenic route D623. The spectacular 15-kilometre long drive up the gorge offers breathtaking views. In parts, the road is a single track with bays for passing. In summer months where traffic gets heavy both ways is a thrilling route that can be congested. Remember to drive with caution and be prepared to give way. Bring lots of water and make sure fixed camera notifications on GPS systems are turned off, because apparently that's illegal in Corsica.
what?
Yes. So you can't have camera warnings on your sat nav.
How are they going to
because of the-
know?
I don't know. Maybe they have a special radar that can tell.
So you get a ticket. Hang on, that's really screwing my head there. You get a
Yes.
ticket if Waze or some other app goes
Yes.
bing, warning,
There's a
camera
camera.
ahead. But
Yeah.
then you get a ticket if you drive through the camera.
Yes. Those Corsicans. Ah, dear.
There you go. Okay. That's just bizarre. I know in Australia you don't get any warnings of cameras in Australia. Like they hide the speed cameras, which I sort of understand.
Hide behind a kangaroo or something.
Yeah. The last time I drove abroad, maybe Cyprus, and it was great. Motorists were flicking you the other way when they said the police were coming. Flash, flash, flash. It's like the police are there.
Brilliant.
Finally, in this segment, Earl Lucan writes.
Really?
Yes, apparently writes in from Acapulco in Mexico. Strokes his moustache and said, "They'll never catch me." He's been busy studying himself in Brazil since 1968. He says, "Car-Boyz, hola, you need to take him on a great drive along the Costa Verde. It's a real treat for runs from Hidalgo, Rio de Janeiro state to Santos, Sao Paulo state, especially if you're trying to evade the police. The full length of the road is roughly 350 miles, so it might be useful if you break up the journey a bit. The road officially named as the BR101, leading to the lobbying, booty-shaking, flamboyant Rio." There you go. Look at that. Flamboyant Rio. It's your first sight of the favelas clinging to the hills. Oh, not so nice. Followed by the city's famous beaches, including the legendary Copacabana beach itself, full of COVID. He said he found himself driving along the Leblon beach, then Ipanema, then the glorious curve of Copacabana. And the good thing, Copacabana, she was a showgirl. And the good thing was all the beaches were empty. Yeah, they are, because of COVID.
Yes.
The roads can be beautifully dry and sunny, but be prepared for a torrential downpours of heavy traffic. That I've never been to. It actually doesn't look like this. This picture's terrible. But I've never been to Copacabana or Rio de Janeiro or Brazil itself. But that on Copacabana beach is Roberto, I think it's Burl Marx, who designed that pathway. The Brazilian artist.
Okay. The
Really
little pattern.
crazy. And that's crazy sort of stripes, like some sort of 1960s test card, really, isn't it? We'll be
Or
bringing
marble
you the
cake.
light program later on. Look at that, fantastic. So Earl Lucan, still not caught me. Yeah, he's
Riding his horse, Shergar, probably.
yeah, riding Shergar down there with Elvis, Jim Morrison, and Janis Joplin. How marvellous! It's all good fun.
Oh dear.
Is it time
This
for the mailbag? Yeah, it
it
is time
is.
for the mailbag.
Mail straight to mailbag. This week we've got no. By the way, viewers, if you want to send in
Yes,
a turd of the week, please do.
yes, Phil.
So we've
Phil
got
for
no turd
time.
of the week this
Phil
week.
for time.
Yes,
Phil for time.
yes.
I'm still looking
A
for
usual address is.
still looking for the. Here we go. Oh, you get your guitar out again.
One day I will learn to play this. Letterbox. Letterbox.
Wonderful. And
Letterbox. Ooh, here
all
are
right,
we?
band, calm down, calm down. They're getting a bit crazy.
It is. It is, of course, the mailbag that was known as the letterbox. Sophie from Southall says, "Hello there,
Hello.
Car-Boys.
Hi, Sophie.
Hope you're both doing well." Yes, we are. Sophie
Very
owns
well.
a 2006 Vauxhall Corsa.
Sorry.
Nice. Sophie owns a 2006 Vauxhall Corsa. Oh
Oh,
dear,
very
1.4
nice.
SXI doesn't make it any better.
No.
Five-door silver, 70,000 miles on the clock. Five owners, full service history. What's it worth? She gets a company. She gets a company car next month and wants to know how
If
if
it's
she
worth
should
anything.
sell her old one. Hmm. Problem is, cars like the Corsa. There's two. There's good points and bad points.
Yep.
One, there's lots of them around, so
Yep.
it's kind of a buyer's market, but lots of people want small cars, so pros and cons, really,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I mean, she won't get much for it. She'll get about 700 quid.
Mm.
So it's actually worth selling. Although it is in good mileage, it is in good condition. I mean, if you want to sell it, I'd probably go something like Gumtree online. You could sell a car there. I think it's under
Yeah,
£2,000, under £1,500.
pretty
You
much
don't
so.
have to pay for it. But why not just keep it for 6 months and make sure you've got the job?
Mm.
And
Just in
maybe,
case, it's always
yeah,
good.
maybe you don't like the job, and then you go, right, well, I still got my old car. I'm not tied to the
Yeah,
job, even though I've got a company car with it.
this is true.
Or you find a relative. There's always a friend or a relative. It's like, I'm after a decent new car, and if you've got one, it's always nice to, if you've
Yeah.
got a rotter, get rid. But if you've got a decent car, it's nice to sell it to friends.
Or young people in the family, first car
Exactly.
and
Let
all that.
them dent and scratch it.
Mm.
We've got moving on from Southall to Elvis in Rochdale. Always was
Ah.
quite appropriate. We had Lord Lucan earlier on, and now we've got Elvis, and
Mm.
maybe we'll get JFK and Marilyn Monroe before the end of the show. Elvis says, "Hey up, car boys! I need some advice on how to keep my fuel costs down. I drive a 10-year-old Ford
Ah.
Galaxy, rarely get more than 20 mpg. It's a diesel, but does have a roof rack on the top with a roof box, which he rarely removes. Could this be the reason for poor performance?
Hang
In a
on,
word,
hang on. 20 mpg in a diesel.
yes. There might be something wrong with this car, mightn't there?
Yes, I'm thinking unless his foot's made of lead, I don't know.
Unless he drives around in fourth. I also had taxi drivers like that. Never get out of third in London if they haven't got an auto. In a word, yes, roof racks and boxes can add up to 30% onto fuel costs. Um, there's a reason the Concorde was shaped like a dart, and it was wind resistance. Get the box off the top of the flipping car. Also have a computer diagnostic just to make sure that engine is all running present and
Yeah.
correct. And I would suggest also check your fuel tank isn't leaking, because it could
Oh,
be that as
yes.
well.
20 mpg does seem a bit bad.
We had this with my
Um,
Fiat Panda that was down to about 20 mpg, and then we discovered a massive hole in the petrol tank.
ooh.
One of the many reasons not to buy
And the
it.
strong smell of petrol.
Yeah, it was that as well.
In
If
this
you go,
case, diesel.
yeah, in this case, maybe there's Derv everywhere.
Oh dear. And now we're over to we're in Texas. Well, we wish we were in
Texas.
Texas.
Well,
With
we thought
Bob,
about going to do it all or B&Q, but now we're going
Texas
to go to
Tom.
Texas.
Oh, those were the days.
Yes.
With Bob, who's a fan of the pickup truck. He currently drives a 1978 Ford F-150. He says it's a reliable old but beaten up. He's going to keep it, but wants a slightly more reliable pickup to get in and out of Dallas. He knows we're not experts
If
in
she'll
American
let him.
trucks, but what about Japanese? Um, Pickup trucks are huge in America.
Yeah.
Literally, they're huge in America.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, Japanese-wise, I've had a four-track, which was a
yeah.
Daihatsu Of course, global king of the pickup is the Hilux,
Mm.
which is more expensive than most S trucks, but reliability of the Hilux is legendary. I quite like this one, Honda Ridgeline, which are very rare in the
Oh,
UK, but they're popular in the US. They've been making them since 2004. This is an all-wheel drive Ridgeline 2006, high miles but in very good condition, $6,500. Four-door with all the 21st century gadgets, bargain for such a beast,
mm.
6,500. Got a 3.5 V6, full leather,
Nice.
petrol, CD player, sat nav, and it's apparently dent resistant. These cars,
Really?
yeah, handy in
I guess
Texas.
that's the way it's designed with like the seals so no one
So
can get to it.
I guess you can have fun. Yeah, you can have fun with this, or this can be the
Yeah,
practical car, and then you can drive around and hoon around, as they say in Australia, in
in
your
your classic.
classic F-150. Finally,
Oh,
Terry in Manchester said he's thinking of driving down to Cornwall for his holidays this summer. His son Steve is going to go with him. He can't leave the UK at the moment, so we can't go to Corsica or Brazil.
mm.
He's thinking of buying a camper van for such a trip. Is it worth it? He's in his 50s. His son's in 19. They're avid surfers. Why not? Not a popular sport, he says, in Manchester. Canal is not very good for surfing. There
Down
you go.
Canal Street.
Yeah. It's other things are good down on Canal Street. What should he go for? The blokes can rough it a bit. They don't mind very basic camper van. I wouldn't buy a camper van. I'd buy a Ford Transit.
Lots of people are converting their
Yeah,
vans,
convert
aren't
it.
they?
Mercedes Sprinter,
Yeah.
high cab, long wheelbase. Chuck a tent in the back, in case one of you gets lucky with the ladies. Bit barbecue, two surfboards, off you go. This is what my mate does in old transit, and he has
Okay.
lots of fun. If it's two blokes, you can wash in the shower block, you can wash in the sea. You don't need an expensive camper van.
Mm.
Um, just get an old Ford Transit, an old Mercedes Sprinter van. Be mindful it's going to be difficult to find a camping space down there this year, though. My advice is to phone a few pubs to see if you can park in their car parks. There are a couple near where I usually go, which is Porthtowan. They rent out their fields to camper vans and surfers.
Ah,
So that's what we're thinking.
yes.
Yeah, something like that. You
Yeah,
probably get a good one of those for about 3 grand. We talked about it before,
quite
and then just
versatile. Yeah.
just just chuck a mattress in the back and go for it, and have fun and enjoy. Um, yeah, less than four, you'll get one that'll get you there and back, and then when you've had your holiday, you can just sell it again.
Yeah.
Why
Loads
not?
of people wanting vans, yeah.
Are,
Why
are you
not?
going? Are you going van
I
this summer?
I've I am this week.
Oh, where are you
Well,
going?
from I am going to do a tour of Britain, avoiding all the COVID areas. So what I did was look at the COVID map and avoided
Brilliant.
all the areas that were just like big on COVID.
Okay.
So I'll probably
And they're
end up
not
in
exactly going to be
Scotland.
the nicest areas.
No,
Bradford,
no.
Manchester,
So
Sheffield.
I'm just planning my
Okay.
route around those
And you can
places.
go to Scotland. They'll let you in because you're from the
Yes,
south, not from Manchester.
I've visited the Visit Scotland website today, and it says you're absolutely fine so long as you don't
And
come
you
from Bolton
come.
or Manchester.
And you come.
Yes,
Only if
we
you're
want your
driving
money.
a Hillman imp.
So
Otherwise,
yeah, so
piss off. Fantastic. Oh,
that's
that's
what I'm going to do.
marvellous. Oh, that sounds very good. Very good. I am probably going to go down to Cornwall at the end of next month.
Yeah, yeah, I thought
Got
about
it all
that, but
booked.
everyone seems to be going there.
Unfortunately, it is full of people like me going down to Cornwall. But I am averse to the cold weather, and although as much as I like Scotch whisky, I don't like their weather, and I would like to get a tan.
See, I've already got a
You're
tan.
okay.
So.
You came pre-tanned. Is it time for is it time for our
It is
quiz?
time for the
Let's get on
quiz.
with the quiz. Here we go.
Oh, thank you. Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Thank you. It is time, of course, for the big quiz. And this week, as much as we hate them, electric cars are here to stay.
I'm afraid I am.
So we'll be testing our lucky contestant on their knowledge of
Hi.
electric cars. Speaking of which, here is our contestant for today. It's Richard from Southwest London.
Hello.
There you go. Now, Richard, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate electric vehicles?
hate's a strong word.
Dislike.
Yeah, I do dislike. Probably about 9.5.
Yeah, I pretty much say I agree with you. This week you're
It's
playing for
when I'm
Magic Tree F.
thirsty, I reach for LBGT water and I get instant refreshment. What I don't have to do is plug myself in for 4 hours to get refreshment. Just saying.
You're playing for a Magic Tree air freshener, which I've lost. I did have a Magic Tree air
Oh,
freshener for
really?
you.
What did it smell of?
Uh,
Pine.
it was the blue one, so it might have been pine. I don't
I
know, but
was I
it
was
was the
I
blue
was
one.
trying to go for sweaty cab driver. Then it's like,
Oh,
it's
just being in London.
sweaty Uber driver.
Anyway, so that's the prize you're playing for. Once I find it, I will send it out to you, assuming you win. So, question number,
Ah,
eyes down looking. Question number one. This is the picture of Jaguar's first all-electric vehicle. What is it called? Is it A, the E-Pace, or B, the I-Pace?
I think it's the E-Pace.
It is the E-Pace. Well done. The I-Pace is
Yay!
the non-electric version of it.
Ah,
There
no, I
you
didn't know that. There you
go.
go.
But you knew the right answer, so it's
Yeah,
one out
yeah,
of
I
one
did.
so
I knew
far. Well
something.
done.
Yeah.
Yes. Question number two. This is the Honda E, the lovely Honda E. I like the Honda E. The company have built into it an assistant like Siri. Those of you who use the iPhone.
Okay.
How do you call up the personal assistant? Do you A say, "Okay Hiroshi," or B say, "Okay Honda"?
Ooh.
Okay Hiroshi or Okay Honda?
Oh, go on. I want to say okay, Hiroshi. No.
No, it's Okay Honda. I made that one up. It's Okay
Ah,
Honda.
okay,
That's what
Honda.
you guys come to say.
Honda.
There you go. Okay. Question number three. What reborn legend is this vehicle? Is it A, the Ford Mustang Mach-E, or B, the Ford Mustang Boss E?
Oh, it's I think it's the Mackie.
It is the Mach-E. There
Yeah,
you go. Look.
with a little logo. Nice, and it's
Yes,
slightly
I think that
higher, isn't it? Making it not look dissimilar to a Ford Puma. I'm just saying.
they're everywhere. I've seen loads of Ford
Yeah,
Pumas about.
yeah.
Even driving scores. Question number, well done. It's the
Thank you.
Ford Mustang Mach-E. Question number four. This soulless vehicle is, of course, the Nissan Leaf, plugged in, charging up
Ooh,
forever and ever. In 10 years, it has sold
disabled
half a
car.
million vehicles.
Really?
Yes. Where was the 500,000th car, or half a millionth car, from? Who did it go to? Was it someone from A, Norway, or B, Luxembourg?
Norway, this is not going to work. It's got to be Luxembourg.
No, it's Norway. Norway
Really?
love electric cars. Yes, Norway. There was one owner in Norway that became the owner of the half a millionth Nissan Leaf. There you go. Norway love electric vehicles. They're everywhere.
Why, oh
Ironic,
why,
seeing
oh
as they're full
why?
of oil. I don't know why. They're just full of oil. So there you go. Two out of four so far. So
Bizarre.
you're well on the way. Question number five. This is the Hyundai Ioniq. It is a
Nice.
reasonably spec'd family car here on sale in the UK. But how much is the cheapest version
Oh,
of
go on.
this? Cheapest version. Is it A, £17,000 or B, £23,000?
Oh, it's got to be £17,000.
It's not. It's £23,000. You can't. There's not. I don't know of any sub £20,000 electric vehicles. It's
So this
23,000.
this is why it's not going to work, isn't it? This is why,
Exactly.
you know.
That might be the point of the quiz to
Oh,
deter people
okay.
getting electric vehicles.
Okay, sorry about that.
So yeah, incorrect. It was £23,000 is the cheapest version of it. Question number six. The Lexus
Nice.
UX 300E is Lexus'
Nice.
first battery electric vehicle, which they call the
Hmm.
BEV. The BEV.
All
But
right,
what
Bev.
does UX mean in its name? What does UX mean? Is it A, Ultracross, or B, Urban Explorer?
Oh, I hope it doesn't mean Urban Explorer. That is like somebody trolling for a young man
So
down
what do you think they're
Canal Street in
marketing?
Manchester. I'm an Urban
Do you think it could
Explorer.
be Urban Explorer? Urban
Oh,
Explorer.
really? Is it? It's Urban
It is Urban
Explorer, for
Explorer.
God's
Yes.
sake.
Yes, that's what the UX stands for. Well done. Question
Marvellous.
number seven. Oh, I've lost the picture for this one.
Oh,
Question number seven. The entry model Renault Zoe has a 22 kilowatt battery. How long does it take to charge to 80% of its battery life? Is it A, 50 minutes, or B, 90 minutes? To 80% of its battery life. Not full charge, but 80%. 50 minutes or 90 minutes?
90. Gotta be.
No, it's only 50 minutes. It's a small,
Really?
tiny, tiny, tiny battery. Yeah. Only 50 minutes to
Ah.
charge. Question
Ah.
number 8.
Hang on. Do you know
So
someone at the
incorrect.
front door? I love this.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Maybe ask them the question. Who's at the door? Who's at the door?
It's the debt collector. He wants his money. uh, yeah, no, it was Amazon, strangely enough, and they'd done the
Ah,
thing of just placing the package on the back of my car,
yes. What? They put it on the car?
on the boot of the car. They always do that. It's like great because I park really close to the front door. I like to
Ah,
shoot out the
okay.
front door straight into my electric G-Wiz, and shoot off.
Oh dear. Okay, moving on. Question number 8. The Porsche Taycan. The name comes from a Turkish word. What does it mean? Does it mean A, lively young horse, or B, prancing horse? Think carefully.
Oh,
Lively young horse or prancing horse?
where's that bottle of water? Lively young horse.
Young man.
Young man.
Yes, it is. Lively young horse, because
Lovely young
prancing
horse.
horse
So is a
is.
Ferrari, yes.
Yes, yes. The also lively young horse is a reference to one of the symbols on the Porsche badge.
Yes.
There you go.
There we go.
Well done.
What is it?
Question. Hmm?
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I know it's
Yeah,
the symbol for Stuttgart and is it Lower
Stuttgart, but
Saxony? Yeah.
there's a horse on there as well. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Question number 9. The BMW i3 with the smallest battery option has a range of 81 miles. If this was converted into equivalent petrol miles, I don't know how they worked this out, but they equivalent it to the equivalent petrol miles per gallon. What would that figure be? Would it be A, 65 mpg, or B, 124 mpg? If it was to be converted into a petrol
Mm-hmm.
figure, would it be 65 mpg or 124 mpg?
65 mpg. 124.
That's correct. It is right. I don't know how they work it out, but it's 124
Okay,
mpg.
that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
There you go. I'm going to give you the magic tree that I can't find anyway because it's.
Oh, you can
it's
post it
nice.
to me. I can hardly
Yes.
wait.
I'll send it by Amazon.
It's Amazon. Yeah, I would. I'll leave it on the car.
Question number 10, and last but not least, the daddy of all EVs.
Yes.
By far, it is the daddy of
Yes.
all
Yes.
EVs. Is the milk float?
All right, love. It's Robin Asquith driving.
Confessions of
Hello,
a
darling.
milkman.
Old show.
In 1967, when
Yes.
these milk floats were around,
Yes.
what was the range of these milk floats? Was it
Go on.
A, 20 miles, or B, 80 miles?
Oh, it's got to be 20. That's got to be it.
No, surprisingly,
Really?
it was 80 miles. So in 1967, so I did talk about the Renault Zoe
Right.
with the smallest battery.
Yes. Yes.
That had a range of 88 miles. We've not really come very far from a milk float.
Yes, but in all fairness, the Renault Zoe doesn't go tinkle tinkle tinkle.
Incidentally, researching this, apparently in the marketing bump that the company that made this, they said in 1967, Britain had more electric vehicles, mostly milk floats, because they were the only electric vehicles,
Yes.
than every other country in the world added together.
Wow, it doesn't surprise me. It does not surprise me. Have you ever been stuck behind a milk float? It's the most painful
driven a milk
experience.
float.
Have you really?
Yes, when I was about,
Did it
I can't remember where, me and my friend from school, we drove a milk float. We were about 9
you
years
steal it?
old. No,
from Edgewood?
it was just, it was just, there was a thing and they said you can drive it around this tennis court. So we drove a milk float around the tennis court.
Excellent. And so began the love
People
of
weren't
electric
playing
vehicles.
tennis. So there you go.
But
That's
it
the
was
end of the
very
quiz.
it would have been very slow to go and get the ball with the milk float.
And the rattle of the bottles. There's a whole
Exactly.
generation that don't know about that.
Exactly. You do still get you do still get milk floats though, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
But just
I
not.
think that some of them are petrol ones that are converted. And the whole point of having electric milk floats was they were quiet in the morning when they came down to
Yes,
do
I
your
forgot
milk.
that was the reason, wasn't it? So it wasn't
Yeah,
noisy engines, not environmental concerns. Oh, I
yeah.
do. Yeah, we do have one round here, but I think he drops off really early, like 2 o'clock in the morning, which
Yes.
seems just absolutely absurd. That's about it from us, isn't it? That's about it from the
It
show.
is.
Thank you very much for tuning in. We might be back next week. I don't know. You're going to be away, so we might have to
Yeah, but
postpone it.
I'll be around. I'll be
Yeah,
around.
yeah. We'll see if we can bash something together. Our usual, you know, as we are wont. The show that is sort of put together on a shoestring. Better than GB News, though.
Yes.
So thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy your week. Enjoy the sunshine. I can see it's coming through. I'm going to go and find out what Amazon have left on the back of my car. I'll tell you next time. The excitement is palpable, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye!